She was a huge personality in a small individual. She wasn't very big, she was my size, but she was just a huge personality. She had a great sense of humor, was a big spirit, just a huge spirit. One of the reasons we planted this tree, it's a black spruce, black hill spruce, is that it's going to grow. It's going to be huge, much like her. So in memory of her, we planted this tree. I was reading some of the comments that people made about her after she passed away, and everybody talked about how she was so kind, and talked about her spirit, and just how much she exuded love. And, you know, if I had to use a word to describe her, I would say love. She was just the embodiment of love. She loved everybody and was so kind to everybody.
Just the way she would light up the room when she walked in, and her smile and her laugh, and just being around her, I feel like you felt so much happier because she was just such a happy person, and that radiated from her and just made you happy. So that's one thing I think was just that happiness of her spirit. And
if you met her just once, you were her friend forever, and that is who she was. She never forgot you, and people commented about that all the time. As I only met her once, but boy, I'll never forget her. And she was just quite the individual. Someone very special.
I think she would say, just go out and live your life and do things that you normally wouldn't do. If you have chances to take them, do it. I think that's what she did with her life. She had the chance to do many things and travel, and so I think she would say, if you have the opportunity, just to embrace it and live your life, not caring what other people think, and just go out and live it and have fun and live it to its fullest. Always enjoy the little things and laugh a lot. I think that's what she would probably say.
And she never gave up on anything. She never wanted anybody else to give up either. If she undertook a task, she completed it. If it took her a while, it took her a while, but she always completed it. When she took the job she started a job here in Fargo after she graduated from law school. And the people there were so impressed with her that they offered her positions in Washington, D.C., where she was for a while. And then she was promoted to another position she took in Pittsburgh. And when she was in Pittsburgh, someone noticed, I think it's probably the Midwest work ethic, but also her personality. They offered her a position in New York in the sales department. And she just continued to move up the ranks in New York City, and was on the cusp of getting another promotion, a big promotion, there in sales when she got sick. And when we talk about resiliency, she worked every day while she was sick. She spent a year after her surgeries, and she had huge 7 to 8 hour surgeries at Sloan in New York. And after the first surgery, she came back to Fargo and lived with us for a year. And she had chemo at Roger Maris. I would take her to her chemo sessions, and she would have her laptop with her. I'd offer to stay with her, keep her company, talk to her, and she'd say, no, you would just get in the way, I'm going to be working. She worked every day while she was sick, every single day, up until the end, November of 2018, when I went out to stay with her. She was still calling into the office, still answering emails until it was just too difficult for her. But that is resiliency. That is someone who doesn't give up, completes a task, and not only completes it, but excels at it.
I think one of the things that you notice too about Rachel is how curious she was. She was not only curious about things of the law and how other things work and how relationships work, but she was also curious about individuals. She would get into a cab, as an example, and or Uber, and she'd immediately start talking to the driver. And by the time you were done with the ride, she would have pretty much a complete history of the individual and what they liked, what they didn't like, and so forth. And she would remember those things. So I think that there was a really a strong, curious streak in her about people and things, and certainly the law.
I'm more reserved than her, and I felt like when I was around her, I felt like I was more spontaneous and did things that were different that I normally wouldn't do, just because she always took those opportunities to be spontaneous and live life so full. So I think for me it would just be more spontaneous and do things that I normally wouldn't do, and I've been doing that more, channeling Rachel and her spirit, and just taking those opportunities to do things I normally wouldn't do, just because we only have one life to live, and I think it's important to live it fully like she did. So.
Well, I without a doubt, it would be, you are strong. We are all strong. We have to rely on one another. Dig deep, dig very deep, because within each one of us is a certain amount of love, a huge amount of love that we need to give to one another. We need to rely on that. We need to be kind to one another. She would not like to see what the world has become. I mean, I know she doesn't like what the world has become. I talk to her every day. She talks to me every day. I feel her presence, significant presence. But she would tell us that, we're going to succeed. There will be a better day. Her journey was her journey. That was her journey. She completed her journey. We all have our journeys, and we are on those journeys. So we need to understand that they're all important. Whatever we are doing, they're important to us. We need to succeed at what we are doing. So if that means that we have to put our intolerances, our biases, whatever we have aside, to be sure that this country succeeds, that one another succeed, we need to do that. That would be her message, and she would say it more strongly than I just said it. There would be no question about what she would say or what she would do. She spoke her mind. She was direct. If you read her blog, you know that she accentuated her message with a few very strong words that she used to emphasize her point. But yeah, that would be her message today, is that we all have so much love to give one another. Dig down, find it, and give it to one another, because we need it now more than ever. One of the reasons we put this tree here is not just to honor her. I mean, obviously, it's in her memory. But the reason we have all these lights on it is that when people drive by, it is so beautiful. It is so full of light. We want people to know that she was light, but our lives can be filled with light too. Not just from this tree, but I mean, it's a semblance, and it's a symbol of light. But take it with you. Take it with you home to your family. Take it with you to work. Take it with you wherever you go. Remember this tree. Remember it all lit up. I mean, do it for her, if for nothing else. Do it for yourselves mainly. But remember this tree and what she would want you to think of. We're doing it for her, and we're doing it for everybody. So remember this tree.